What secret do you hide from your family and will take to your grave? I don't have university degree. I lie on my first job, and then with experience nobody knows my address and phone number. My tattoos. If my sweet Mormon parents knew, it'd break their hearts. Carefully placed tattoos and the right clothes will keep my secret. Took a semester off school to travel Europe for 6 months. Had a friend cover for me and say we were roommates, and occasionally voice called my parents to let them know how I was doing through Skype. I didn't have the heart to tell them I needed a break, and I knew they wouldn't allow such a thing to happen. I took the money I had for that semester and used it to pay for my airfare and stay for 3 to 4 months. I backpacked and paid very little, but gained a lot. When my mom died, I was given her wedding ring. The wedding ring her and my dad shared. I was 16. Whenever I missed her, I would hold it and think of her. My family sucks and my dad is an abusive piece of shit. He kicked me out at 19 for speaking out about the abuse. And my boyfriend walked out on me after 3 years about a year later. I used the ring to pay for rent when I had a mental breakdown and couldn't find a decent paying job. I know I didn't do anything wrong and that it was a good decision. I just can't imagine telling my family and getting verbally abused for it when I was on my own and no one who should have been there for me was. I want it back. It made me feel close to her. But sometimes life just sucks, I guess. It's almost like your mom was looking out for you in the worst of times. Even after she was gone, she managed to take care of you. People like you are both wonderful and remind me what an utter realist, I guess pessimist, I am. My reaction is yup. The world is and everything ends in misery. Yours is something beautiful. Everyone thinks that my husband died of cancer, but he was cancer-free when he died. He beat cancer, but couldn't quit the OxyContin. Truth is, he overdosed. I met my biological father and he's a lot like me. I've been forbidden from ever meeting the man since I was little. Why were you forbidden? Because he abandoned me and my mom when I was born. Is he nice? He's okay. Are you nice? Not really. When I was 5 or 6, my brother was hit by a firework on his neck. Every time we talk about it I say yeah, I don't remember much but I remember everything, and he doesn't, as I'm pretty sure he passed out for a while. Scariest shit of my life, as I can recall having to get my dad. And his screams are the worst thing I've ever heard, and I hope I'll never have to hear something like them again. But that was a while ago now, so it's cool. And his screams are the worst thing I've ever heard, and I hope I'll never have to hear something like them again. No kidding. Something about seeing a father break down emotionally and go from the stalwart bastion of machismo to a crying wreck chills to the bone. I've seen my father do it twice and both times still haunt me. This is the kind of question I'd have fun with answering but can't. Because I found out recently that my family stalks my Reddit account. Privacy isn't something built into their repertoire. My oldest sister, who was put up for adoption, was a product of rape when my mom was in college around the same time she was stabbed. May or may not have been connected. My brothers don't know. My mom doesn't know I know. To make matters worse, my middle brother was accused of rape in high school, which I'm fairly sure he did. And sees little problem with it besides an inconvenience from 2 girls he knew. My mother was really sick in 2008. I was turning 25 with a younger brother and sister. Lost both of my grandparents on mom's side to cancer a few years prior. Mom had to watch as her parents slowly passed away. It destroyed her not having her mother around, as they were very close. My mom was in and out of the hospital for 6 months from the summer to the fall of 2008. Couple instances where her blood was septic. She recovered, but the doctors continued to run tests on her. One day I stopped by the hospital to check on her. The doctor was in the room when I walked in. He told her she had cancer, and chemo had a chance to save her, but it would mean she would be dealing with it for the unforeseen future. My mom told me she wasn't going to do any treatment. She said that no matter what, she was going to be home for the holidays and that I couldn't tell anyone what the doctor said. I never told anyone. She left the hospital like it was any other day. Thanksgiving came and she gave a speech before the meal about how she loved everyone, and she began to cry. I knew why. Everyone else just thought it was that she felt blessed. Shortly after Christmas she passed. She got her last wish to spend the holidays with the family. After she passed, the doctor told everyone cancer was the cause of death. I never said a word to anyone then and haven't to this day. That my neighbor as a child coerced my sister into sex acts, and when I found out I beat him until he had to more or less crawl home. He moved away the next week. I'm pretty sure my sister never found out I did that, and I don't think I'll ever tell her. When I was 21, I lived in my college town for a year despite dropping all of my classes. I took out $25,000 in student loans and tried starting a t-shirt business. It failed miserably and I re-enrolled the next year. My parents and friends were none the wiser. Okay, so here's why I took out the student loan instead of a business loan. Because I was an idiot 21-year-old. I used to take out $5,000 for fraternity dues, travel, and groceries at the beginning of each school year. One day, I had the bright idea to take out an extra $20,000 and start a small business to make bank. I felt like the t-shirt market was underserved. Learned pretty quickly it was not. Did no research upon starting the company and just tried to rely on online sales. Once the check cleared, I dropped all but one of my classes Intro to Entrepreneurship. I want to go back in time and punch myself in the face and just kept the money. It was a half-assed idea that I'm still paying for today. As for me, I still graduated in 4.5 years after some help from intensive online classes and summer school. Basically told my parents I was adding a minor to my degree and I paid for he last semester myself. Still, learned a lot about myself. Loans will be paid off in 2 years. I tried to commit suicide in the bathtub with my dad's shotgun when the fam jam was out, but I forgot the safety was on. Put it back in my dad's closet. And nobody ever found out. I'm better now though. Late to thread. When I was maybe 12 or so, I saw my dad crying in his bedroom with his shotgun in his mouth. So as a bit of an update, because somehow this comment reached enough people to get nearly 1,000 upvotes. Yeah, my dad is still alive, but no, he's not doing super great. My parents divorced a year or two after that incident, and parents have a weird tendency to ask kids who they want to live with when they split. My dad was always a mean and often drunk sob, so it was no surprise my brother chose to stay with my mom. I thought my dad might need some connection to family. I was 13 or 14 and moved in with him. We had a good 2 years and then he met someone and I lived on my own for some of sophomore, all of junior, and most of senior year of high school. I was asked to come live with him eventually and that barely worked out, so after 2 more years I was on my own again. In that course of time he got diagnosed with a terminal illness. He tried to kill me in a drunken rage twice. My brother was there for the second time. I was angry but also sad and felt bad for him. We grew apart now that we had some distance between us. I got married, had kids, living a decent life. He is older, more calm, more appreciative of life. We're not super close but we talk again, see each other again. He knows my wife, my kids. He is having a rough time slowly dying and I'm having a rough time coming to terms with it all. But as I grew older I started to learn more about his story, his life, and what he was going through when I was just a kid. I'm glad he's still around and I'm glad he's happy whenever he's not in pain. I lost my best friend to cancer when I was in my early 20s and I'm not in a rush to lose my dad now too. Anyway, thanks for reading. I grew up thinking I was part of the X-Men and would train in the backyard swimming pool. My dad thought I was drowning one day because I held my breath underwater for so long, so he jumped in to save me. I was in like 7th grade. I never told my dad holding my breath for as long as I could was part of my mutant training. I never told them I thought I was part of the X-Men because I didn't want the government to get involved. I don't get forced to work holidays. I volunteer to work them to get out of family dinners. I have a trapdoor below my room which I have slowly converted into a little nook, and I like to curl up there and play Animal Crossing sometimes. I sold the PS4 I got for Christmas in 2013 to buy Christmas presents for them in 2014. At Vas I who went tinkle on my brother's bed, not the cat. that I know that they've been tapping into my credit since at least 2010. I'm waiting on the detailed credit report to come back in the mail. I couldn't get it online because I don't know what companies my mortgage and car loans are with. Soon, I'll be making a surprise 10-hour drive to their house to get their bullshit taken off my record, taking my cat, and never going back. I grew up in an alcoholic environment, and became an addict myself. I will never tell my parents that I got a DWI and it's what led me to get sober. That my husband and I were married by a justice of the peace before the home wedding I insisted on. My mother wanted us to elope, but after she skipped my high school and college graduation, I was damned if I was going to let her slide out on the wedding, too. So I had it in her house. It was a small ceremony. I paid for everything, including the post-wedding supper at a local restaurant. But you'd have thought I was killing her. Both she and my dad have passed, so now I can tell the world. Why on earth would you want your mother at your wedding when she couldn't be bothered with anything else important? The reason I got in my car accident was because I was reaching for Reese's peanut butter cups that fell off the passenger seat. Wow, threads like these make me realize how simple my life is. Everyone loved my great aunt. She was a great woman with a huge heart, an honest Christian woman, an absolute saint of a nurse who would sacrifice anything for friends and family. She also sexually abused me for well over a year when she came to live with us when I was 9 years old. Told me great stories of how I would be disowned and sent to an orphanage or go to hell for my actions. I will never tell my family about her actions nor that I unplugged her oxygen tank one night. One of my uncles claimed this happened to him as well when he was younger and everybody essentially excommunicated him. I would have confided in him as well, but he killed himself before I had the courage to do it. I found out that I'm infertile when I was 17. All their jokes about what a shitty mom I'd be wrecked me.